Might be time to start thinking about working from home again. I'm Woody Huffines. I own the Nerds to Go in McKinney, Texas, and this is Tech for the Untechnical. You know, if I had told you in, say, August of 2019 that you ought to think about putting an infrastructure together to work from home, you'd probably think I'd have bumped my head. My boss is going to tell me to work from home, much less let me work from home. Well, by mid-2020, that was probably a reality for many of you. We had this discussion in the middle of August of 2020. Maybe you're hopeful that it'd be going away and you could go back to going on the regular way of working on things, or maybe you liked working from home, and here we are in August of 2021, and it might be time to think about working from home again, or putting together the infrastructure that you threw together quickly a year ago to make sure that it would work, and think about the things that you need to do to get an environment that's safe to work from home. So if you're thinking about working from home, or you're thinking about preparing to work from home or homeschool or do all the things that we were forced to do a year ago again, which is becoming a distinct possibility, there's several things that you need to think about. And the first of these is security. Because if you're working from home, you are effectively part of your business network. If the business is requiring you to work from home and you're connecting back to that business, your network is now part of their network's part of your network. Now, that means that if somebody's going after small businesses or looking specifically for businesses, that you might end up being collateral damage. They find another piece of the network, they can get to you through the business or to the business from you. If you're working from home and working from home for a small business, the first thing that I would suggest that you do is make sure that the business is using a VPN, or a virtual private network. Now, a VPN is a way to tunnel in so that people can't see the information that's tracking back and forth. Now, to be sure, there are some VPNs that are better than others. There are some that are more secure than others. There are some that are more expensive than others. But just about any VPN solution is better than no VPN solution. So if you're working from home, talk to your boss and make sure that you've got a VPN to protect the business from the mistakes that might be made at your house, and protect your house from the mistakes that might be made at the business. The second step from working from home is make sure that you have a good antivirus on your computer. And by good antivirus, I mean a paid antivirus. Now, we use Bitdefender, and we think that Bitdefender is a good enterprise level solution. But again, if you're part of that business network because you're connected, you might need to think about the things that you need to do for your antivirus. And a free antivirus usually means that they're going to be collecting data on you, and I don't like that from a privacy standpoint. If you need a good antivirus, talk to your local Nerds to Go and they can help you out. But get a good antivirus on the machines that are connecting, especially if you're working from home. The next thing you need to think about is to make sure that your software, your hardware, everything is up to date on your computer. CISA, the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Administration, did a piece, I guess it was 2 or 3 months ago, of the top 30 security vulnerabilities that have been utilized by hackers and bad guys in the last couple of 3 years. And in the top 30, some of them were 17 years old. They had security problems that were almost old enough to buy beer because people hadn't patched with the available patches. So make sure that you have a good patch capability, that your software is up to date, your hardware is up to date, your drivers are up to date, your operating system is up to date. You want to make sure that everything is up to date. Again, Nerds to Go can help you do that, but do some things that you need to do to make sure that you're up to date. Go to the Windows settings, look at the updates, and apply any updates that are sitting out there, especially security updates. The fourth thing that you need to think about is that your home network is part of your security solution. All the stuff that's connected to your home network, and on my home network I probably have 30 devices attached to the network in one way or another, and each of those devices may have its own security vulnerability. So think about segmentation. In other words, putting the work that you're doing or the computer that you're doing that's for your business or for the school or for whatever on a segmented or separate network. Now, you can do that with an additional wireless router that's a network address translation router that gives you some security. A firewall would be even a better solution, so that you have a demilitarized zone. You put all your home stuff on one side of the firewall and the stuff that you're doing for business on the other side of the firewall. Segmentation's a good idea. It's a little complex for a lot of home users, but a NAT router is a good start to think about segmenting your network so that your home computers and your home resources aren't on the same network that you're using to connect to work or school. Lastly, in terms of security, think about security awareness. A lot of problems get caused by email, and a lot of phishing attacks are going right now, and they're hitting homes and small businesses, especially the people who are working from home. In fact, one of the Nerds to Go owners this week shared a post with us where he almost got tricked because as you're working from home and you have a different security environment, in this case it was a pop-up that said, hey, you need to re-log into your Microsoft Office account. And if you're working from home and you get a pop-up that says relog into your Microsoft Office account and you're struggling to get something done for your boss, you're in a hurry, you're trying to use Microsoft Word and it says, hey, relog in, you need to pay attention to where that link's going. You need to pay attention to what the URL is that link is taking you to. And I went through my inbox couple of months ago to look at that to give you some ideas about how to do that. But security awareness and being very, very careful of the links that you click on or the links that you follow when you're working from home become very important in a work from home environment because, again, you're connected to the network of the business is connected to your home network. So in a hurry or in a rush to get things done because you're trying to do a good job, you might find yourself in trouble because you clicked on the wrong things. So security awareness, also very important. Those are the things that I would think about in terms of working from home from a security standpoint. Now, the next thing I would think about if you've got to work or school from home that you need to be concerned about or that you need to pay attention to is your home network. Not just from a security concern, but from a speed and reliability situation. If you've got a bunch of people working from home and there's televisions on and there's a bunch of Amazon Alexas and Ring doorbells and things that are connected to your network may not be fast or reliable enough to get the connection you need to be effective when you're working or schooling from home. Now, a wireless network is really handy, but a wireless network is a radio frequency network, and just like anything else that's radio frequency, if physical barriers are between your router that does the wireless networking and where you're trying to work are separated, then your speed is going to go down. Wireless capability is great. I love the ability to walk around the house and be able to connect to things, but the issue is the further away you are from that wireless router, and the more walls that are between you and that wireless router, it degrades the speed that you can get through that wireless router. Now, there's a lot of wireless routers out there that talk about gigabit speeds or 800 megabits per second. That's a theoretical speed. How fast the network really is has a lot to do with how many walls there are between you and the router. Now, the problem is, most of the time in homes, the wall that has the internet connection where they put your routers on one end of the house and maybe you're trying to work on the other end of the house. And by the time that signal gets there, it's slow and it degrades the network. The other thing that has to do with how well you're connecting is the number of devices that are connected to your wireless network. In my case, as I said, I've got 30 or 35 different things that are connected to my network. And each one of those takes some of the speed down on the network. And finally, there's the coverage that's available because of that distance and the number of walls. Now, there are some solutions that you can use to help you out. We like mesh networks for some applications. A mesh network needs to be a tri-band mesh so that the network mesh is communicating over one band and still leaves two bands for you to communicate. That's a whole nother thing. But think about what it takes to do the speed and reliability of your network. And if during the day things are running slow, maybe you want to unplug those Amazon Alexa devices, or maybe you want to shut down your Ring cameras. Maybe you want to diminish the amount of flow that's going through your network to allow you to work fast and efficient and reliably over that network. So there might be a network upgrade that you need to do if you're having trouble because of the number of people you have and the number of devices you have. So the second thing to think about is your home network. Get your home network up to where it will reliably and quickly do the things that you want to do on the internet. So there's not just the security concern, but there's also the performance concern. Maybe you need to upgrade your network to do this effectively. The third thing to think about is your home office environment. Now, the reason that I mention this is over the last couple of years, we've fixed a bunch of computers because people have been using them from home and not paying attention to some of the things you might need to think about. For example, you're sitting at the kitchen table and the power cord to your laptop goes between your laptop and the wall, and a dog or a kid goes flying through there and yanks the laptop off, or it messes up the charge port of the laptop. The other thing that you think about is people walk around with their laptops because they're going to go make some tea while they're looking at something or on a Zoom call, and they drop that computer and we have to replace it because we replace the screen or replace something inside. So think about what your home environment is. Make sure that it's well lit and that you're sitting one place, that you paid attention to the power cords, the network cables, all the things that may dangle off that'll cause that computer to get drug off the table or to damage the power port on the computer. And especially if it's a laptop, think about cooling. The number one bane of a computer is liquid, and we'll talk about that in a second, but number two is cooling. If you want to sit in your bed and put your laptop on the comforter, that means that soft surface is basically stopping the airflow from the computer. The fan's unable to pull air in or push air out, which might make your computer hot. Damage to the board. The computer does weird things when it gets hot. And finally, there's that liquid damage, which we've seen a lot of in the last year. People working from home, you got your iced tea, you got the kids, you got the dog, and the drink ends up in the keyboard, and that's not a good thing for a computer. So pay attention to where you're set up to work from home. So number one is the security concerns. Make sure you're using a VPN. Make sure you have a good endpoint security or antivirus program. Make sure that your network is in a good situation for having a secure connection that's probably needs to be segmented from your other stuff. And because you're working from home, pay attention to what you click on, especially working from home. Second is your home network. Maybe you need to speed up. Maybe you need to extend it. Maybe you need to do some things to make it faster and more reliable to get the things that you need done. And third, think about the home office environment. Don't have a bunch of water around your computer, iced tea, or in one case we had a macchiato Starbucks thing inside of the computer was sticky. It was bad. So pay attention in that setting to it's a little bit different than your normal setting when you're at work. So if you do those three things, if, heaven forbid, we all get shut down again and have to work from home, you'll be able to work from home quickly, reliably, and safely. If you have any questions about how to accomplish these things, give us a call at Nerds to Go McKinney or any of the Nerds to Go across the country. I'm Woody Huffines. I'm the Nerds to Go in McKinney, Texas. This is Tech for the Untechnical. If you find this helpful, hit the subscribe button, mash the notification bell, share it with your friends, and leave me a comment. We'll talk again soon.